and welcome to NUFC Talk as we look at game week 38. And mate, if we looked at this fixture list, which we did at the start of the season, halfway through the season, Christmas time, and could have gone into it actually looking forward to it, I think we would have snapped everyone's hand off, right?
Most of us were saying that we didn't want to be going to Burnley needing to get 3 points and needing to get a win.
But yeah, so we've got a full show where we're going to look at the last game of the season, how that's changed. So please, before you go any further, make sure you click subscribe, you put on the bell, leave us a comment, let us know how you thinking right, how you feeling right now as a Newcastle fan. You can get us on Twitter, you can get us on TikTok at NUFC Talk Pod.
Yeah.
If you want to get me direct on Twitter, it's Glenn_NUFC.
And I'm Yanis. No, I'm not Yanis. NUFC.
Sure? Yeah. Yanis NUFC. So yeah, come along, catch us on TikTok, Twitter. And get involved. But most important, make sure you press the subscribe on the YouTube channel and also on Spotify. So yeah, I can't remember actually sitting down excited to watch the last game of the season for a while.
Yeah. I know it's funny because we've often sort of had one of our best games of the season, and the last game of the season, bizarrely, think back to like Chelsea. That was the last game of the season. Oh, was that Sissoko's debut? I don't know if it was. Because it was Spurs.
Yeah,
we were going down. Was it 5-1? Getting relegated.
But then we were already relegated. Then this one we were just battling for a position where we could.
Nah, we just want to ruin Burnley's day. Relegate them. Get them down.
But yeah, there was always the talk when we signed Chris Wood, and there was like all the conversation and talk about him saying Chris Wood's going to score a winner on the last day and save Newcastle and relegate Burnley and all that jazz. But we've been safe for weeks,
donkeys, man.
But
yeah, it was good. It was actually good to go into this with a lot of excitement and not have any sort of fear of what's gonna what could happen.
Yeah,
it was good. It was good that Eddie Howe kept them motoring as well. Kept pushing them.
Well, I still think players are playing for the contracts and to be a part of the project next year. 100%. Players like Longstaff putting in a shift, Miggy putting in a shift to the end. So we started up. We had Dubravka in goal. We had a back four of Trippier. Great to see him back. Lascelles, Byrne playing the left hand side of them two, and then Target playing left back.
Yeah.
And we had midfield three, which wasn't the three for long. We had Longstaff, Bruno, and GL7, Joe Linton. And then up top we had Miggy, Wilson, and St. Maximum.
Yeah.
But yeah, I suppose the first point was Joe Linton went down pretty early on, and I think he went down in the 7th minute but got subbed off in the 11th because he had so much treatment. But yeah, that didn't look too good. He appeared in the team photo at the end. So
well, Eddie Howe said it was a gash on his foot that they could see the bone.
Oh,
so it's pretty deep. So they knew he was going to be coming off straight away.
Right.
So, but a gash is a gash. He'll be all right.
Right.
So, yeah.
He's got to August to get better. So if there's ever a game to get injured in, surely it's number 38, right?
Dead ringer. Well, not for Burnley, it wasn't.
This game was absolutely not a dead ringer. we'll edit that part out. Yeah, dead ringer that can relegate or save a team.
Can I say it was good to see Trippier back, but we have got to sign Matt Target.
Yeah, especially if all the rumours are true and he's 15 million. Like,
he was class again, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He literally had us one off the line, like later on, like.
I'm not just signing him for his headering ability, but
yeah, just he put a ball through the ESM, which he weighted perfectly, and he's just he's been. I know he's kind of flown under because Big Dan Burn got a lot of the praise and Bruno, but he is definitely flown under the radar. But at his consistency, I know he got done on the goal by Jota, little 1-2. Who scored? Naby Keita. Keita's goal, little 1-2. He got kind of done on that, but every player's going to get done now and then. But
it's even the best happens now and again, don't they?
But yeah, he's just been so slow. He's class again. Quality.
But then we've been. I know we're going to get linked with everyone over the summer. At least the Haaland crack will stop now.
And probably Mbappe.
Yeah, Mbappe. Yeah. So Lundy,
Yeah.
he's apparently meeting up with Newcastle officials to start conversation. It was obviously a left back, but yeah,
Just get a 50-man squad, innit?
yeah, that's it. So I've got 2 solid left backs, which
Compete on 3 fronts next season.
it's bizarre because we used to just having a solid starting 11, whereas other teams do allocate for rotation and injury, whereas us we're like, we've got a left back, why do we need another one for?
We'll have one defender who can play centre half, right back, and left back.
Yeah.
Or defensive midfield. So can Isaac Hayden probably play left? I'd probably play left back as well. I'd be right.
And when you might not, mate, I'm sure me age. Man United back in the United had a guy called Mike Phelan who just back in the day when he had 2 subs, he came on and just like played every position that was.
Didn't he also become like head coach?
He's one of the coaches now. Like a James Milner.
Yeah,
I think Milner's just played for so long. He's just rotated to different positions.
Yeah, he's played literally everywhere.
Anyway, we're going off topic.
Digressing, but yeah.
So yeah, we've got the penalty which happened in the 20th minute, which was absolute just madness, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, what was he doing? Like, it's just the most like. I mean, if you're in a relegation scrap, what you don't want one of your defenders to do is just punch the ball,
especially in the box, your box.
I mean, is he not looking up? You're not sent off there. Like that is a blatant.
It's a deliberate handball, isn't it?
Yeah.
If he's done that on the goal line, it's a send off. Like, has he stopped a goal scoring opportunity?
That's a bizarre thing. Like Longstaff's kind of facing away from the goal, having to sort of pull himself around to get. I mean, he's doing well to score from there, but
did he even get booked?
I don't know.
But yeah, cause I thought, wow, because I think even the commentator mentioned this could be some trouble for, was it Collins? Yeah, the guy who handballed it.
Yeah, just absolute madness, rush of blood to the head.
Mm-hmm. And then Callum Wilson steps up to take the pen.
Cool, man, never in doubt.
Cool as a cucumber, tucks it away, and then 1-0 to Newcastle. And then on came revert to type Burnley's tactics of kicking the opposition first and then trying to play football, because I thought it turned into quite a physical game.
I thought it was physical, but I really thought Newcastle were like in sort of cruise control, but not really playing particularly well either. I thought I thought Burnley were just sort of first half really just seemed to. I don't know if they got a bit of pressure and they just didn't show up. You know, if you want your team to be at
the first half, yeah,
sort of and really, I mean, when you do see one of your teammates punch the ball in the box, you probably get
like,
not stuffing out of you.
There's one game we need to win and not do anything daft. 20 minutes, you punch the ball in your own penalty box.
That's an absolute shocker, like. But yeah, I think Burnley weren't great first half, like.
They start again. I wrote down physically because you had Tarkovsky, blatantly tripped over Bruno. You had Barnes and Byrne were going at it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Byrne just reverted to type.
I think from a Burnley point of view, though, you want that. You're not as good a football team.
Mm-hmm.
You're at home, relegation scrap. You want that. Like, do you know, if Newcastle were playing against like a team that were better than them and they were sort of in this relegation scrap, you'd be like, every chance to leave something on somebody, get the crowd up, just get about them.
So after watching
Tarkovsky, yeah.
Would you be interested in him at Newcastle then?
I absolutely 100% would have been in January, definitely. Mm-hmm. Because he would have been an improvement for where we're at. But, and I was saying this to one of my pals, Newcastle's next step is trying to get into like the top 8.
Yeah.
Solid mid-table, around sort of mid-table finish.
Yeah, 11th mid-table.
Alright, so mid-table finish this season. The next step is just to jump into the sort of top 8, trying to get some form of European football. Is he going to be a top 8 player? I don't know. I don't think it's an improvement.
Because reading again, I know transfer rumours that Everton's reportedly offering him 120 grand a week. I don't know where they're getting more money from, but fair play doesn't seem to affect Everton. Financial fair play anyway.
Yeah, it's nuts that. I think all in all, he's a good Premier League centre half. He'd be a player that I think is solid. But I just think if what Newcastle's ambitions are, you don't need in that position. I don't think to be taking small steps. They've got 2 good centre halves in Burn and Shaw that are decent mid-table centre-halves, improve on them and get somebody who's going to be like, if you go and buy sort of a Bruno-esque centre-half, he's going to be a clear step in improvement. That's what I think you buy. I don't think you need to buy another person who's going to be. I mean, would Tarkowski get a game straight away in front of Shaw and Dan Burn?
That's it. Because one question I was going to ask you is, if everyone's been raving about Tarkowski, Ben Mee saying he could go and play for someone else, Nick Pope, if them two centre halves are that good and the keeper's so good, they wouldn't have got relegated.
I know, that's the spine of you. I mean,
if you've got two apparently Premier League centre halves, good Premier League centre halves, which you want to buy clubs, the keeper who's in pushing for the England squad and want to buy clubs, you can't be that good if they've got relegated.
I mean, other A players are shite now.
I know, but
no, I get what you're saying though, because that's like the spine of the heart of your defence.
You saw how much of a difference Dan Burn came in when just by putting a centre half in.
Yeah, it's mad. Yeah, and Target next to them. But yeah, if you can get it for decent money and he's going to be a squad player,
he's on free.
I mean, without paying him like 120 grand, you know what I mean? Well, busting your wage to pay him.
Yeah.
And you're going to pay him in line with what you're paying Dan Burn and Shaw and sort of Lascelles and players. Because realistically, you're thinking Lascelles and Fernandez are going to be away. That's what I'd be thinking. Can you improve on those two? He is an improvement on those two.
Yeah.
Because Fernandez isn't playing. He's gone from being my opinion our best centre half like 18 months ago to being just the injuries or whatever, just not playing. But anyway, so yeah, if you can get him on modest wages, he probably is a sensible purchase because he's free. But I think all in all, you want to be improving that centre half with somebody like a Diego Carlos or like a Sven Botman, that kind of that next tier of centre half.
Yes, a step up.
Yeah, he did leave a little bit on a few players, didn't he? Was it Bruno that he left on the street across his knee when he went through the ball, like, or was it?
So Bruno was a trip where I think we were defending a corner and Bruno looked like he was going to break away and he just, like all players do, they just clip someone just to stop the break.
There was one where he came out. Who was it? He came out on the edge of the box. Was it maybe Almer? I don't know who it was, but he came out and was like straight. I can
see the tackle. I'm just not sure which Newcastle
balling man
was the receiving end of that one. But Maxi had a good chance 1-on-1 as well.
Yeah, that was the pass from target. Great way to pass. Like he doesn't just point it; he puts it right down the line from and Maxi. That's what Maxi is best, isn't he? Getting 1-on-1, getting at somebody, cuts inside, decent effort. Can't do much else with that. Good save on Nick Pope.
And for the first half, unless you have anything else, mate, the first half wasn't much going on. Like you said, Newcastle never really got a third gear. Burnley never really turned up except give a penalty away and get some fouls. So for Newcastle, it was a pretty straightforward first half.
Yeah, I kind of, my mate's a Leeds fan, he was texting, being like, are you watching Newcastle match, are you sort of, are you going to do us a favour? And I'd said to him, yeah, I think we could sort of steamroll them here. Because I couldn't see Burnley doing anything. Then obviously setting off, it's sort of more the same at the start, wasn't it?
Yeah, Burnley didn't really do anything until we scored the second.
Yeah.
Which was on the stroke of the hour, so 60th minute. So Maxson went through. Do you know what? I think Maxson feels a lot more comfortable.
Where's he got Wilson?
Yeah, because I think he prefers to play the ball along the ground than crossing it, like for like a wood header. Do you know what I mean?
I just think Wilson's just.
Are they know each other?
Well, yeah, when Wilson's like just 10 times as sharp a striker, like Max is going to get the byline and pull things back, and Wilson will be in front of the defender 9 times out, more times than Wood would be, or Gale would be. So I just think Wilson's just a better quality of player. Wilson will be in space. He'll find us. That's what he's class at it. Like,
yeah,
yeah. Certainly some kind of connection there. Yes, Sam likes having a game against Burnley, doesn't he? He's done a few times now where he's got an assist or a goal against them.
Wilson, he scored the goal against Burnley in the reverse fixture because that was our first win of the season.
Was it? Did they keep a drop with Nick Pope? Nick Pope dropped it, didn't he? Then it pops up and Wilson sort of runs round and
so he did well.
I think the If there's something there between ASM and Wilson that just isn't there with ASM and Wood, or ASM and Wolf had Gale's played now and then, so yeah.
Gale comes on and plays an odd minute now and again.
But then obviously Burnley kind of get back in it.
Cornet on the 69th minute. Would you take him?
I don't know. I'm not sure. At the start of the season, I was thinking this guy's an absolute star. He was scoring shots outside the box, headers, all sorts, but he's missed a couple of chances. Even this, he scores his goal. First chance is a good save. It comes from Collins as well, by the way, who's the guy who pushed the ball. Kind of ASM gets kind of done, but he does put at least a bit of a tackle in, and then Corney has the first strike saved, and then he drops down and volleys it straight in.
He takes his goal pretty well, but how many goals he scored? I think he's approaching double figures. To do that in a Burnley side where he's the creative player as well.
And you went off that African Cup of Nations as well, remember?
And his form before the African Cup of Nations was really good. But I think a lot of players who played in the African Cup of Nations, Salah for example, came back and just looked a
bit jaded,
a little bit tired. So
yeah, I don't know. I think at the start of the season I was thinking they've got an absolute find here, but I don't know. He's probably similar, I guess, in sort of in forward to kind of Wilson, isn't he? In a sense that he has got pace, he does run in behind, he is strong at the same time. He is a goal scorer. I know he's missed a couple of chances, but he clearly scores goals because he has scored goals. So,
do you think he could fill in a wide position? Would he be improvement on Miggy?
Well, I don't think he wants to play out there. I think he'd probably be a versatile player. He could play anywhere because he has played out wide for them as well, hasn't he? He has played in the wide areas as well as played up top.
Because there's times because in Burnley's 4-4-2, he has played as the left midfield or left wing or right wing one, right midfield.
I think that it strikes me that is they just couldn't leave him out, so just shoehorn him out there because he can't leave him out. But I think he probably would be a similar player to Wilson, but again I think you've got to try. You've got to improve, man.
I disagree. I think he'd be more competing with St. Maximin and Almiron.
Do you think?
Yeah, for a wider position.
I don't see him as that kind
and then a striker. Well, I think I don't know. Let's know your thoughts. If you're on Spotify or YouTube or maybe you're catching this on TikTok or Twitter, would you take Cornet? I'm saying
Cornet.
Cornet. Would you take Cornet to Newcastle next season because he does have a £15 million release clause in his contract now they're being relegated. So £15 million, mate. He's absolute.
He's a steal, but again, am I being a bit sort of snobby now, thinking we need to be improving everyone by because natural fact
he's improvement though. He could walk into a top 8 team.
You think?
Yeah.
Yeah. 15 million is a snip, isn't it? For a guy who's proven to score goals in the Premier League in a shite team.
Yeah, a very very shite team. At that.
Yeah. Probably would be a good addition. Yeah.
Especially look what Sir Eddie's been able to do with some of his coaching.
I know. Do you know what it is? And if Wilson isn't fit, you wouldn't be like, oh Christ, I have to play Corney up top. You'd be like, well, Corney's alright, isn't he? So yeah.
Yeah, I'm just absolutely creating the argument and conversation about nothing because they've been mentioned. But
15 million, get splashed.
Yeah. Well, we'll get it trending on Twitter. Corney to Newcastle 15 million. You heard it here first. I'm probably last. And then but after this is when Burnley actually started attacking a little bit more. They had Corney had another chance with a header. Cork had a chance which was cleared off the line by Target.
It's so good that.
Veghurst, if you wanted one person to be diving in at that shot or that cross, drilled along 4 or 5 yards out, he's diving in with his 7-foot legs, somehow manages to miss it.
When he gets a touch on the ball, doesn't he?
But not
just not enough. It's not like Gaza in the 96 where he doesn't get there.
I know, 96 one.
Still painful.
I remember watching that game with my dad. Yeah, we won't go back there. When you stop crying. But yeah, with Veghurst, the interesting thing was Leeds. If he scored that, they would have been safe at that point, based on what the result was at Brentford as well. So huge that.
And then Jack Harrison's goal would have probably won it, but the pressure to get that goal.
Yeah, because fans obviously tell each other what's going on the whole time, the players.
Did you see those people? One person with a transistor radio kicking about. Like, like not texting. There was one guy like the old school way of like the 90s where they have a radio like the aerial,
an old boombox or something.
Love that like. But yeah, there was some decent chances, but the Jack Court one like and the header for line by target, that is just absolute quality, man. That's just a bit of like defensive know-how.
Yeah.
Just gambling and be like, gotta be, just gonna get back on the NC.
See what's going on.
Yeah, and just Dubravka's done. You can get anywhere near it.
So I know we're going to do a pod because we're going to keep recording during the summer. For anyone who's a regular listener, we are going to keep the pods going because there's going to be loads of Newcastle stuff which is going to be happening. We've got loads of ideas for extra episodes that we're going to be doing. So we're not going to dive too much into this, but there has been a lot of talk. Henderson coming in.
Yeah.
Did you think Eddie obviously has a doubt about Dubravka?
I think so because they kind of feel like no smoke without fire. Do you know, in terms of I know everyone's been kind of linked, but that sort of goalkeeper has been a sort of something that's come up. Henderson in particular. We don't know, is that an agent sort of peddling that stuff out? He's not going to get a kick under De Gea. De Gea's had a quality season this season. There was question marks that's cut the season for De Gea, but De Gea's basically he's kept them in the sort of European football, hasn't he? Really,
De Gea is one of a few players this season that can actually hold his head high in that Man United team. So
probably the only one who's consistently been able to Ronaldo.
Ronaldo and Alanga, but anyway.
But I like Henderson. I think he's clearly got a higher ceiling than Dubravka. Is Dubravka a way better shot stopper than Henderson? Probably not. I think Henderson's a good shot stopper. I think Henderson's probably slightly better with his feet. Depends on which Eddie Howe wants to go. I'm not sure goalkeeper would be the first place I'd be investing unless somebody who's going to be a game changer and good came available. Like you think of players like Edison and Alisson, the levels at which they managed to take out the playing out from the back and in their respective clubs. But it's 40 million is quite a bit of money as well, I think.
Yeah.
Or is it? I don't know if it is anymore.
well
it gets you a Bruno, I know that much.
Yeah, it gets you a Bruno. So if we have a Bruno in goal.
Or a GL7, he can probably play in there. Keep moving Joe Linton further back.
Further back, yeah. We'll have a season centre half then next year. That'll be in goal.
But what would you be buying him?
I'd be looking at what are the business we're looking to do elsewhere. I still think Dubravka has a calamity in him.
Yeah,
which
unquestionable. Yeah.
So it's not like when the ball gets across, I'm like, this is Dubravka. He should be clearing this all day. You still expect like a random punch, or like, is he gonna drop it? Or who was it the other week? Was it against we conceded a few. Was it City where he dropped one and he should?
Which one was the
was like the
shot?
The second one against City where he should have scooped up, but he let it go back out.
Was it the Port score?
Maybe,
I think it was the Port score.
So anyway, we got battered, but like if we hope to be more competitive next season, that's the difference maybe between a draw, a win, and you can see how this season like every single position's been competed for to the last game of the season. They're the type of actions which can determine where you finish up.
Yeah. That all being said, although I totally agree with you.
I think I'm wrong.
No. That all being said, I just think there are more pressing places to improve the squad. First of all, like I'd be looking at wide areas first. Another centre midfielder, another centre half,
centre forward.
Clearly, Wilson needs somebody because he can't play enough games. The left back situation needs to be sorted. That's a first bit of business. Either signing my target, for not signing my target, who we signing?
That should. You'd like to think it was already done. Yeah. This Lundy crack. That's the only one that's made me think, is it actually done? But then, like I said, they might be wanting to go with two left backs.
Yeah, but I think in an ideal world, if you're replacing 6 players like then you maybe would bring another goalkeeper. But I think that's probably one for next season. Sorry, this season, not for next.
Okay. Eddie's interview at the end of the game. Did you see it?
Yeah.
So he said the most important thing for him is keeping that team spirit.
Yeah.
Keeping the team morale, everyone's attitude, how they've all gelled together, and adding new players to that, which I think was really important. Like looking back to the January transfer window, that's what he did extremely well. He brought in good characters. He didn't bring in egos, and he brought in people that knew the Premier League.
Well, again, that's maybe another thing with Dubravka as well. He's clearly part of the leadership group. He speaks really, really well when you hear him speak. He's just replacing him at the drop of a hat because he's not a terrible season, Dubravka. He's made a lot of mistakes, but like I feel like unless you're like the best 2 or 3 in the world, you're gonna make a mistake. Yeah. So yeah, I think like if you just if when the first transfer window comes around, you just punt him and get him replaced when he's part of the leadership group. Maybe will that go down well? I don't know.
So maybe he's got another year in him, and then as an aging keeper, it's a bit easier to say that's why you're replacing him.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. But is
there anything else you want to mention on the game? Because I know it was obviously a huge game from Burnley. And I don't want to say that was pretty much just from a Newcastle point of view when it's relegated the team, but
it's just probably another point, another illustration of quite how far Eddie Howe's got the mentality of the team, not just how we're playing, how they're set up tactically and stuff, but under the previous manager that we would just flake under that much pressure. Also,
if you think about our midfield, like what was our midfield 3 from 10 minutes on?
I know, I was surprised when he brought on, Willock was on the bench, wasn't he? I'm sure Willock was on the bench.
I didn't write down the stuff.
But when he brought on
Murphy,
I was like, oh.
So we had a midfield 3 of Bruno, Longstaff and Murphy.
Yeah, Longstaff had a good game again.
He did.
This is back good games for Longstaff. I thought he played some nice little touches, sprayed the ball out with some.
So with our midfield, because we've mentioned this a few times now, and please let us know your thoughts as well. This is somewhere we need to strengthen because we've got Bruno, who's obviously going to be starter. Willock can be. I'm still not convinced he is a nailed-on starting 11 if you want to be pushing for the top 8. Same with Shelvey. I think he's a good 14 to 8 position in the Premier League midfielder. It's them two. Then after that we've got Longstaff, which I'm still not convinced about. He has, when he wants to, Longstaff can turn up. After that, we have a drop down to Hayden, and the tweet that he's put out today thanking Newcastle fans for the season, saying it's a hard season and thanks for the last 5 or 6 years he's been here. So is that like a goodbye message for him?
Yeah, Hayden goes away with everyone being like showing him some love because obviously he had his family down south and there was a lot of talk he wanted to go back down south, but he stayed at the club and he's always put a shift in.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not good enough anymore, is he?
Nah, not for where we're going to.
Yeah, not where we're going to. But I just still remember that time he made Declan Rice look average. That is just class. Declan Rice is £100 million player and couldn't lace up Hayden's boots that day. It's so good. But yeah, I think I've said it before, it just depends on what you're going to do with Bruno. If you want Bruno to play what we all thought he was coming in as, which is like the sort of defensive midfielder, the linchpin, the guy that sits deep, if you want him to do that role, then you need to have somebody to sit alongside Joe Linton in those number 8s.
Mm-hmm.
And then Willett becomes a squad player who will probably play half the season or a third of the season off the bench, bringing energy, all that sort of stuff. Fine, that's I'm happy with that. But then you need to have a number 8 sit next to Joe Linton. Or are you going to play Bruno where he has been playing and been really effective, which is one of the number 8s? In that case, you need to move on from Shelvey. We need to move on from Shelvey.
Yeah.
That's so it's whichever one you want.
And Shelvey's had a good season, by the way.
Yeah, he's had a good season, but I think we need to move on from Shelvey, personally. Well, I wouldn't be selling him, by the way. I'd keep him in the squad.
Yeah, 100%. Well, Bruno's mates came over and his missus, and there's all the pictures
with quayside and stuff.
Yeah, selfie in front of the Tyne Bridge. So is that just
pouring the Wetherspoons along there for a couple of?
That was it. Yeah,
couple of pints.
So yeah, a couple of cheap trebles along on the quayside.
Yeah, pitching the piano for 1 or 2, and then.
So that's something to read into. Is he just over visiting Bruno? Or is it Agent Bruno?
Agent Bruno,
lined up the next signing.
I don't know. I just think they're pals, and his wife or missus are pals. I don't know.
Well,
all that there's been so much talk because they've been doing really active and liking each other's stuff on Twitter, and that everyone's been like reading into it.
Yeah,
but
it's class though. It's actually interesting that for once we could look at that stuff and think, hang on, we actually do have the budget, and somebody would spend some money if that player wanted to come.
So what would you do though? Would you be playing Bruno as one of the eights, or would he be playing Bruno in the deeper role, which he has played a full Leon for the last?
I suppose it just what the other players are coming.
Surely you buy around what you're going to do with Bruno now, though. What would you do with him? Would you play him deep or would you play him further forward?
I think you've got to play him as an 8. He's proven he can score goals. If you can get 2 midfielders who can score 5 to 10 goals a season, that's massive.
Huge, man. Yeah.
Like Bruno scored 5 in 16 and 17 games. Bear in mind, 5 of them games he played for like a minute or something daft like that.
I know. Yeah, and if you had if you brought in somebody who was kind of like a Fabinho style, somebody who is just like a Rodri, who's happy just to sit. I know Rodri scores every game now, like. But if he's happy to sit, happy just to be the linchpin,
like a Henderson,
like somebody who would do the hard yards, but isn't looking for the glory, just somebody who'll happily just ping it about, dictate the tempo, but also be the person that protects it, gives Bruno that license to be like a proper up and down, like box to box.
Plus, you have someone that's hanging that deep as well. It gives Trippier and Target a chance to move forward as well, and it's easy for him to drop back in a centre half goal and cover where a gap is in the corners. And
it does feel a bit like, feels a little bit Shan on Shelby, because like for the first time he's actually had a really good end of the season. Shelby, I kind of feel like, but if the club's going to move forward, it does need to replace.
Any club that's going to evolve, at some point you're going to drop some players which are loved by. Like look at him, like Richie. Richie's nowhere near good enough. He came on for the last minute. That's clearly like a good buy. But he's just not good enough to move forward. Same as Hayden. Same as Gale. He got like a 30 seconds the other week against Arsenal.
Yeah. Yeah, Matt Ritchie's been another one. He's been a good player for Newcastle. His age has caught up with him a lot, hasn't it? Like he didn't just like slow down. He fell off a cliff in terms of like his.
Yeah.
And yeah, do you know what I was thinking this the other day actually? I found it quite odd that Matt Ritchie never went into centre midfield and went into left back instead.
I always thought that was bizarre. His positions was left back and right wing.
I know, yeah. It was. I did think like if there was a player that you'd think who technically was decent enough on the ball and had okay feet and
had a pass on him.
Yeah, I could find a pass. You'd probably think of him more of somebody who would sit and go into sort of a.
Because that's what
Milner.
I was just going to say Milner. He can cover on the wing when he had a bit more legs in him. Then covered full back, but then drops into midfield now because he hasn't got the legs.
Yeah, I just thought thinking it randomly the other day, thinking why did he never go to centre midfield and went to left back instead?
That's
when he got pulled apart every time he played there.
That's one of your thoughts of the week, was it?
Yeah.
Why has Richie never played centre mid?
But so it was a bit of a farewell to some of them. Yeah, so can't move on from some of them though.
Well, I think we've talked that Burnley one to death, mate.
Yeah, mate.
So I've got a starting 11 for you, mate.
Here we go then.
So here we go. Newcastle starting 11. It's been a mental season. So taking us back to Sunday the 15th of August, Newcastle's first game of the season was at home to West Ham. We got beat 4-2. Can you name the starting 11? The first home game of the season. Can you name the starting 11? Let us know how many you can get, okay?
Dubravka.
No.
Oh, Carl Darlow.
No.
Oh, Freddie Woodman played, didn't he? Oh, yeah. Well, okay, Freddie Woodman. Lewis played left back.
Nope.
Was that the season before when he had a brilliant debut?
Yeah, so you're none from 2 so far. Who have we just mentioned as left back?
Matt Ritchie.
Yeah.
Was the season before that Lewis started? Because I remember Lewis playing class in his first game of the season, putting a few crosses in, thinking he's going to be quality him, and then.
But he wasn't then, mate.
Right.
So you're none from 2.
Pull
it back.
Do we play 4 at the back? I think we're play.
No.
I think we play 5 at the back.
5 at the back. Yeah.
So Fernandez.
Yeah.
Lascelles.
Nope.
Shaw.
Nope.
Dummett.
Nope.
Who else could we have played?
He's not.
Kieran Clark.
Kieran Clark. You got 2 more to get.
In the back 4.
In the back 5.
Back 5. So who played right back? Manquillo. Kraft.
Kraft, yeah.
So did Kraft play in the 3?
So I think Kraft was centre half in this.
And then Monkey played right back?
Nope.
Murphy played right back?
Yeah. Well, Murphy was one of the fullbacks we only played him, so we had a back... You wonder why we fucking did shite, right? So we had a back 5 of Murphy, Kraft, Fernandez, Clark and Richie. And you wonder why we conceded 4 at home. And bear in mind, we're only doing 1 training session every fortnight.
Right, and then Shelby and Hayden.
Yeah.
Right, so I've got 7, and then we'd have played Maxi.
Yeah.
I don't think we'd have to play Almiron because we didn't play. Because we played Murphy at right.
Murphy's playing right back and centre half.
So Almiron.
Yeah.
And Imagine Wilson was fit.
Yeah. So
is that it? Is that everyone?
So that's how I was starting.
Christ almighty, that is absolutely.
That is horrific, isn't it?
So Murphy's playing right back, Kraft's playing right centre half, Fernandez, Clark's left centre half, Richie, Miggy one side, ASM the other side, Shelby and Hayden, Wilson. I mean, it's basically 7 at the back and then Miggy, Wilson and ASM trying to. Oh, Miggy's even tucked in, isn't he?
Yeah, even I looked at this, I was like, Jesus, what a team and what a setup that we had.
He never fancied Manquillo, did he? And he made Kraft. Kraft was awful in their money.
Mm-hmm.
And he never played Lewis, even though Lewis had some promise. I know, obviously.
He didn't fancy Sean either, because even when
he never fancied Sean. No.
The odd times he went to 4, there was Clark and Lascelles and Fernandez.
But at points, Clark was solid for Newcastle at points. But he's just another one that's gone off a cliff like.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just conference with him or what, but he's easily our worst centre half.
That back 3 is absolutely awful, isn't it? Clark, Fernandez, Kraft is your back 3, like your 3 centre halves. I mean, Christ, man. I do think Fernandez has been a good servant at the club though, and it was probably arguably our best centre half for a bit.
But yeah, I was just interested to see a Bruce 11. Fair enough, we've had some signings there, but even the players that are still here, how we still managed to pick completely the wrong ones and put them in wrong positions.
I mean, Woodman was a bit like he was throwing in deep end money as well. 45 shots a game. We went 1-0 up and 2-1 up, didn't we, in that game as well, and still lost 4-2. We certainly went 1-0 up and all that.
I remember the start we were basically switching off after 60 minutes because everyone's pans was done in, wasn't it? Because they was knackered all the time.
Yeah. No, because Wilson scored in that game, I think, because he's got a really good record against West Ham, hasn't he?
What else want to mention? Points, just to say how far Newcastle's come on.
Yeah.
Is points-wise, we finished 11th on 49 points. And a lot of people's been talking about Bruno Lage, they've been talking about and Graham Potter, how they've done great jobs at Wolves and Brighton. We're only 2 points behind them, which is 10th and 9th. Leicester City, fair enough, they've had the Europa Conference Charity Shield Sunday Cup that they've been playing in. So they finished on 52. West Ham 56, Man United 58. So we were actually only 9 points behind Man United in 6th.
Yeah. Where basically that takeover coming 5 games earlier, away from potentially being in Europe. Genuinely, that's.
So if you look at them numbers, because try and take positions out of it and look at points, if you can develop on points. So like this season we finished on 49 points, what would be a points totally in for next season? If you added like 10 on, so round up to 60 points gets us Europa League.
Well, we might even get the Europa Sunday League Conference, which I'd absolutely take.
Yeah.
We're laughing about now. I bet your hands up for next season.
Oh yeah, it's a major title. It's going on the club wall. Like we're never going to forget this date ever.
Yeah. It is mad. I can't understand how Eddie Howe is not being properly mentioned. I mean, it was kind of dismissed by the football of Klopp and Pep being the only 2 managers to be worth manager of the season. I can't understand it. From where Newcastle were to where he's got us to. We've got us in touching distance of Potter, who's been lauded over doing it. And we have had a really good season.
Yeah.
That's Brighton's best points total. in the
Mm-hmm.
in the Premier League, and they're 2 points ahead of Newcastle, who had no wins in 14 games.
And considering West Ham at one point were talking like, can these guys push for Champions League?
Yeah.
And we're only finished 7 points behind them.
And we're given 3 points at the start of the season by
Yeah.
putting that fucking team out.
Aye, by relying on Clark and Murphy and Richie at the back.
I guarantee you, if you look back at that game, Richie's would fall for 3 of those goals. At least 3. 100%. Too deep or too far forward.
I just can't defend.
But listen, he's got a strap on his arm, but he's got passion.
Yeah, that's it. But I used to like Richie, and he's put his shift in, but yeah, he was just... You feel sorry when you're just like... Anyway, we won't go back to that.
All the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's interesting to see how far we've come. It does feel like imagine if Eddie Howe had the full season, even if the takeover was just announced the day the transfer window closed and you had that squad to work with, you still think there'd be 6, 7, 8, 9 points. Wouldn't have been battered off teams that were battered us at the start of the season.
I just feel like Eddie Howe's got way more of a footballing brain, because a lot of people, and let us know if you disagree, could pick the Newcastle team. Like, we know who our best players are, we know the positions to be playing. Fair enough, bar Joe Linton, which was a masterstroke / fluke, Clark getting sent off. We would all pick our Newcastle team. No one could ever pick a Steve Bruce team. No one had a fucking clue who was going to get picked, who the centre-half pairing was going to be, because it changed every week, so no one got a chance to know who was playing. Like, we just didn't know who the team was going to be. Do you remember fair enough, there was injuries at the start. Some weeks we didn't know who the keeper was going to be.
I know. Yeah, because at the time, like, you fancied Darlow over Dubravka when Dubravka was fit again. Yeah, centre-half thing, like, that was the most, like, frustrating thing. Shaw never got a look in. Never got a look in. And Shaw was so solid on a Benitez. Yeah, and then, like, another thing, like, Lewis, that was another thing I couldn't get my head around either, about how Lewis can never get a look in, even though, Rich was at fault every week for us. But if you think sorry mate, but if you think if Newcastle had Eddie Howe from the start of the season, just from day one, take what happens, Bruce you out, how you in, games like the Norwich at home, like Watford at home, there would be a drilled team who'd been working on things for like a period of time.
Yeah.
Because you think when Eddie Howe took over, like this sort of the Brentford game, and that was obviously just carnage.
But even like would be a fitter team, so we wouldn't have faded. Because the first 10 games of the season, it was horrible watching us literally just get slower and slower and slower. Like,
because we took the lead in so many games.
Yeah.
So many.
Like Leeds at home, there was so many. Anyway, we can go into a bunch of results where we just faded away and didn't do anything. Like West Ham and Southampton conceding goals for fun.
And Southampton, we scored in like the 93rd minute and conceding the 94th, whatever it was. And we would have been stealing 3 points in that game because we got absolutely battered. There's only one game I think I remember us being like playing really well pre-Howe, and that was Watford. And when Sarr scored late, I remember Sarr scored for the head out the back stick, to kind of take Watford away, and we battered them. We really did batter them. We actually played really well that game. And I remember thinking like,
Watford a shite.
And then they came to our place, and then I mean, as if we couldn't beat Watford this season.
Yeah.
As if we beat Watford 0 times, Norwich once.
Yeah.
This season.
Burnley took 6 points.
Yeah.
They definitely deserve to go down. So, that how beaten both times, so we'll take that one.
Yeah.
So moving on, mate. This calendar year, Shearer brought up match today because Lineker wanted to move on. He's like, Eddie Howe needs some prayers because this calendar year, the top 4 teams who's taken points: City, Liverpool, Tottenham, Newcastle.
Yeah. Class.
So we sit in if the calendar year we'll play the Arsenal card. If you take the calendar year from January to where we are right now, we would be 4th in the Premier League.
I think it's also I'm sure it was like the last 30 Premier League games would have been in the top 5 or top 6 in 30 Premier League games as well. Basically, if if you'd given every team Steve Bruce for the first 8 games, would have won the league. That's what I'm saying.
Wouldn't it be interesting to give Steve Bruce the reins at the Etihad and see how he managed to play Foden at right back or something, or what he would come up with.
It is mad though. Eddie Howe has done such an amazing job, and like always go back to it, but the improvement of individual players has just like been staggering. Or like in some, it's like not even improvement. Fabian Schär just got back to where we thought Fabian Schär could play.
Yeah. Because when we used to watch him, I remember watching him in the World Cup.
It was quality.
Sorry, in the Euros. Sorry, and like Switzerland did all right, and he was a starting centre half. And like, how can he play that well for Switzerland and play this bad for Newcastle, or not even get a game for Newcastle and Steve Bruce?
Bizarre, but I think the two you probably say have been the stand-up ones that Eddie Howe probably might do a pod on this and on kind of an overall kind of round up of the season, but I think the two for me are Kraft. I mean, that is baffling. I thought he was absolute garbage.
Completely agree.
Couldn't understand how Manquillo couldn't get game move. Always thought he's probably gone the other way. Manquillo hasn't looked quite as solid, but I've also thought Manquillo's a pretty solid like lower league.
Kraft, I honestly thought he was robbing a living as a footballer.
I swear that.
I did not see a footballer.
I thought it was like a Graham Souness when he got that fake phone call. George
Weah's cousin. Yeah, but Kraft, I just couldn't see a footballer winning him at all.
Yeah, and he's turned into be really, really solid. And in actual fact, Trippier was far less of a miss than we thought he would be. Which is like, testament to how good Kraft's been. And then the other one, the clear and obvious one, is Joelinton. Like, that's just the mind boggles. Honestly, I remember I will happily say and look back at some of my tweets, and I'm like, I've never been nasty person with the guy, but I've been like, no pace, no first touch, can't see a pass, can't finish, poor in the air, slow,
can't tackle.
Why are we playing this guy? I don't understand. I was literally saying, play Dwight Gale, and then now I'm like, if he's not got the Ballon d'Or, this is a crime against football. Yeah, it's just the mind boggles with how good he has become. Like
it is, isn't it? So, Joelinton, player of the season. He's got the Newcastle player of the season.
Yeah, I think it's fair.
Who's runner up?
Can you give it Bruno in half a season? Don't know. It's hard because they've all been like later on in the season. I think Schär's had a really good end of the season. Bruno's been class since he came in.
Because he played so little, he's probably only played 12 games.
He's been class in like 13 of them. Shelby has had a really good season. ASM's been a bit up and down. ASM, do you know what it is? I don't know. I'm probably saying Bruno. Like,
because I was on an hour, and the names I played with were Schär, Dan Burn,
Matt Target, man. Honestly, Matt Target. I genuinely think he's been so good. Like I can't praise him highly enough for how good he's been. Like he was exceptional. Even that head off the line, man.
Even getting back for that.
He's just so good. Like
Matt Ritchie left back and still be stood at the corner flag, playing everyone on side.
You would like.
Bless him.
I think it's probably Bruno. You know.
Bruno.
No one played well enough in the first half of the season to be like. Do you know what I mean?
Maxie's the only person maybe you can argue with, but
Callum Wilson's been class for the 10 games he's played. Like,
I think he's got 8 goals from 10 games or something.
Yeah, I think Bruno.
Bruno.
I think so. Yeah.
It's interesting. So Joelinton got player of the season for Newcastle. Who is second in your opinion? Let us know on Twitter. Let us know here on TikTok if it's going on there. Let us know on the comments here on YouTube. I forgot what we're recording for.
Yeah. Write to us, whatever.
Yeah, put a PO box. But I think that wraps up, mate. Unless there's any other points you want to raise, bring up.
Nah, just a bloody good end of the season.
Yeah, this is going to be a season which is going to go down in Newcastle history because of the takeover, the shirt which is split, decisions, thoughts. People love it. People hated the number 4 shirt.
And I couldn't. I mean, I still. Do you know what it is? I'm watching. I was watching some coverage of the Burnley game, and they had like, you know, when they sort of have all the players like squashed in like lines, and it was just basically 4-4-4-4-4. Do you see? It was just literally lines of like 4-4-4.
But that shirt is going to be remembered forever, because that was the shirt when we got taken of it. Like, everyone's going to know the number 4 shirt now.
It's been so class. But yeah, that Callum Wilson. I mean, we got battered in the end of the game, but the Callum Wilson goal at Spurs. How good was that? The first goal when the takeover.
Oh yeah, the takeover. Yeah.
St. James.
Oh yeah. That was a great moment.
Trippier free kick. We'll get into some. We'll do a pod on this. But
we've got a full summer of pods of nostalgia to look back on. We've got next week we're going to be doing who we should keep, who we should sell, who we should loan, and we're going to be doing an update on all the transfers as well. And then we're going to be looking deeper into what Newcastle could be lined up next season. So we've got loads that's going to be coming through the summer.
Yeah.
So for everyone who's liked, subscribed and shared, thank you so much. If you haven't, make sure you're subscribing, make sure you're pressing the bell, give us a review on Spotify as well.
Leave us a comment on YouTube.
Yeah, you can get me on Twitter at Glenn_NUFC.
At Giannis NUFC.
And then you can get us on TikTok or Twitter at NUFC Talk Pod. So thank you for downloading. What an amazing season. But stay with us throughout the summer, because we've got loads to talk about.